Hello traders, earnings season is kicking off and we've had a lot of market movement this week. So let's start with the SPY. Here we've got the 100-day moving average. You can see how the SPY poked above it last week and it fell back. We were within striking distance of it and the QQQ actually opened higher yesterday. So let's bring up a quick chart of that. We had a nice little opening rally based on earnings, and the QQQ was above the 100-day moving average on the open, so everything looked pretty good, but conditions deteriorated very, very rapidly. The market has had a habit of gapping higher and then reversing those gains right off of the open. So once we saw the 100-day moving average fail, and it would have been right at about this opening level right here on the QQQ. Once that failed and we took out the low of the day, we were shorting like mad in the option Stalker chat room. So I'm going to put up our chat room right here. You can see it in the middle of the screen. And I'm going to go back. You can see the date and the time. So this is just before the open. I post my market comments. And that's exactly what I had warned traders about. Don't trust this opening rally. We have to make sure that it holds. If it doesn't, there's going to be a shorting opportunity for us because we already have the SPY below that 100-day moving average. So I'm starting to post some of the good looking shorts that are coming up here, and I'm going to continue to scroll down. And here you'll see we like CAT, we're kind of watching it. MMM looks like a good short. And now all of a sudden, the market starts to fall apart. At 9:19, shorted the futures, put the price in here, 2673.50 on the S&P, 6638 on the NQ. I do trade futures in the chat room. I let all of my members know what I'm doing on the futures side. I do also post stock trades, but my focus is really on the futures because I want to keep you on the right side of the action. The stocks are going to be so easy to find using the custom scanner. So I will post stocks from time to time as well, especially during earnings season. But I know that if you just use a couple of the simple searches that we use, you're going to find those very easily. So I'm bidding for futures, bought the S&P futures back for a 2-point gain, bought the NQ futures back for a 20-point gain. A lot of weakness in the NASDAQ stocks. I had also shorted Google earlier. I kind of scrolled through that, but I had shorted that and bought that back for a gain. Shorted futures here, NQ again. This timestamp, 9:59. You can go back and check these prices. 66.18. There's plenty of time to get. Well, there wasn't a lot of time to get in on this particular trade because you can see it wasn't much longer, about 10 minutes longer or so, that the futures sold off hard. And I bought those futures back for a 30-point gain. Within the first 45 minutes of trading, we'd already bagged 50 NQ points on the futures. So I could continue to scroll through the day. We had an excellent day. We shorted CAT. CAT reversed hard. Shorted CAT, made $2.50. You can see here I'm commenting CAT is weak, 1043. Letting everybody know what I'm looking at. EAT was another one that I had posted as an earnings play, made some money on that on the long side. Now we've got CAT bearish reversal below the 100-day moving average. Short CAT at 10:54 yesterday, Central Time. And look at this. It wasn't but probably 5 minutes later, I bought those back for a $2.30 winner. If you're trading weekly options, you make a ton of money on that. Percentage-wise, huge. I happen to trade the stock in that particular instance. The chat room is fantastic because it gives you ideas. We only post symbols for the most part in the chat room because we are looking for a specific pattern. And when we spot that pattern, we post the symbol so we all know what the basis for the trade is. I'm going to continue to scroll forward because I want to show you another trade from today. And so today, there are my market comments before the open. Keep you on the right side of the action. And as the day unwinds, I bought some VZ early in the day. Market was down, stock did very well. Look, Apple's strong, so we're already looking to line up Apple. We did trade Apple from the long side, made nice money on that today. NSC flagged right here. So I'm going to scroll down to BSX is already on our radar because we're looking at it for a long position after earnings. Did a number of trades in the futures today, made some money. I didn't make a lot of money. I think I was up about 5 points or so. Market was fairly choppy today, but I did want to scroll down. Bought BSX. Okay, now this is at 13:19. This is in the afternoon, about 1:20 in the afternoon. The reason I want to show you that trade is because it appeared on the left here. And I'm also going to tell you a little bit about what you see in the left column here. We have a market rating. This is a predictive indicator, not a reactive one. So if the market had been in rally mode and we saw this type of a reading, this is the current reading 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. If the market were in go-go rally mode and we saw it deteriorating like this, we know that we need to take profits on longs, and we know that we need to be very cautious. And there might be a shorting opportunity as well. We also have my system signals on a 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, and 1-hour basis. And so this allows us to see where all the signals are across multiple time frames. So again, the focus is we need to stay on the right side of the market. When we have that market tailwind, then we start picking off these stocks that we are stalking, and the scanner helps us find these stocks. In the left margin, this is exclusively for earnings. And in the bullish column, we had BSX appeared. So I'm going to take down the chat room. And in all honesty, the chat room is probably 1% of the value of Option Stalker. I took a screenshot. You could see how we had bullish signals across the board. The market ratings were all very strong at the time. BSX right here was on our post-earnings pattern search. And right here, watch BSX 1313, and we're in the trade right here. So let's take a look at it. I took a couple of screenshots. So I'm going to put up the next screenshot, which is the stock. And here you can see the stock announced before the open, hence the B. This is a 5-minute chart, rallied hard, and then it pulled back and it compressed. This is exactly what we're looking for. This is the pattern. When we have a buy signal, a compression, we have, this is a pressure reading. When the pressure reading is negative and we are on a buy signal, that's what we call a divergence. Very, very, very strong. Really high probability of success on this trade. That's why I have it in the chat room. So we've got a buy signal, we've got the divergence. This yellow indicator is relative strength versus the market. It was positive, and we were in a compression. These are real easy trades to do because we buy the breakout from this compression, and once that breakout happens, the stock instantly takes off. So we can use this compression as our stop. So our downside is very, very limited on the trade, but we have awesome upside to it. And when we put all these variables together and they all line up at one moment, our probability of success is extremely high. So this is the pattern. So I took another screenshot, and this is where the $28 calls were trading that expire in 3 days. They're in the money, so they're going to move point for point, very high delta. The market was $1.16 by $1.21. You can see the stock was at $29.08 at the time. So there were probably about 15 cents in premium above and beyond the intrinsic value. So now let's take a look at what the stock did. I'm going to put in BSX. And we'll look at a 5-minute chart. Put up my indicator here. There's my buy signal. There's the compression. There's the breakout. There's what the stock did into the close. Really nice trade. And so if you would have bought, let's say 10 contracts of those, they closed $1.40 by $1.48. You could have probably bought those options for maybe 17, 18 cents. Let's say you paid 20 cents for them. You probably could have sold them for maybe 25 cents on a 10 lot. That's $250 in the course of a couple of hours, let's say. Really high probability earnings trade. This is what we do. And Option Stalker has a custom search that we use. I'm going to click on it right now, and I'm going to show you how easy this and other patterns are to find. So I'll put it up, and we like to trade options in Option Stalker. So I'm going to click liquidity. We're able to rate the liquidity of the option, so I'll use a value of 2 and a max value of 10. I like to trade weekly options, so I'm going to mark that. I'm going to mark post earnings. So that means the company announced yesterday after the close or today before the open. If I click scan, it's going to return those results. But I can also go in and I can add additional filters. And those are the parameters that I had mentioned to you earlier. If I click them now, I don't believe that any stock is going to come up, although BA and NSC were fantastic today. So let's take a look. We'll go on a buy signal, and we'll look for stocks that are out of a compression, and the compression has been resolved on the bullish side. And strength versus SPY. I don't know that anything will come up. Actually, there were a few stocks that came up. So let's take a look at these 3 stocks and see how they finished into the close. And I am recording this after the close, so just to be very fair about it, there you've got that nice little compression in here and the breakout. Actually, you had the compression back in here. This is a nice breakout. Let's see what Twitter might have given us. This stock, really nice compression down in here. Not much. And I wouldn't have been overly excited by this stock anyway because it was down most of the day after posting earnings. But one that I really liked out of the gate today was NSC. And so I posted it immediately in the chat room and I said, this is my favorite earnings play. And the reason I liked it is we've got this compression right here. We've got a gap higher through the 100-day moving average and the stock continuing to push higher. So I was watching it. I did not post this trade in the chat room. I was late posting it. So if I can't do it on a timely basis, I don't post it. But here you see the buy signal. Here you see the compression. The green dot would represent a compression. Yellow, green, and red all represent compressions. Each means something a little different. We've got the buy signal. We've got negative pressure, so we've got that divergence that I spoke of, and the stock has relative strength. If I expand this, you can see the orange line is above the 0 line. So I have the pattern. These options, I traded the 145 calls. They were at 35 cents when I bought them, and these were way over a double. I don't even want to tell you. It's kind of crazy money that you can make. I also had a market that was supporting the move. This is an SPY overlay. You can do this on all the charts in Option Stalker as well. When I saw that buy signal and the market starting to rally, and I had all of these other elements, slam dunk. I've got the tailwind that I'm looking for. Stock moved higher. Another one that a number of people were on today was Boeing. Announced earnings. Let's go out to the daily chart, take a look at it. Riding above that 100-day moving average, held strong after earnings. There's the SPY. You can see how the stock has been strong relative to the market, and that bears out in the relative strength indicator as well. So we've got all the elements for a good trade. So on a 5-minute basis, you can see how the stock had been compressing down in here. I'm going to take the SPY off just to make it a little easier to look at. I'm going to take the SMA off. There, we've got our buy signal there. We had our compression there. Stock moving higher, relative strength, negative divergence, We have all of the right elements. I did not trade this, but many other traders did. So you've got to move from 336 up to 344. If you're trading weekly options, you're making big money. You have to wait for this setup, and you have to wait for the market conditions to line up also. That's why I'm focused on the market conditions. I want to keep you on the right side of the market. When you know that you've got that tailwind, you run the scanner, you look at the search results, and then you know you've got a high probability trading setup. That's how we do it. If you have a search that you like to save, you save it, you name it, you describe it, and then it appears in the platform. You click scanner, you click my searches, and there are the searches that you've put together. Click on them, see the results. There's BSX right there. That's how Option Stalker works. We are all over earnings plays. Right now, the market is all over the place. The S&P 500 is up huge one day, down huge the next day, and trying to take advantage of these opportunities throughout the course of the day. We don't really care what the market's doing overnight. Right now, we're trading intraday. We're finding these earnings plays, and earnings season has just started, so I hope to have you aboard.